Hey, how's everybody doing? My name's Coupe and I am back, and this is another Rust experimental branch update server. So they got a new menu, which is cool. I kind of like the other one with the fireplace and the guy sleeping and the bear and the wolf, but they're constantly changing it just to keep it entertaining. But the first thing I always recommend is that you go into the settings by pressing F2, and you go and turn on and off all the ones that you prefer and how you want it to look, and then it'll, and by turning some off, it'll actually speed up the game, so it doesn't have as much lag. There's not really that much lag at the point. There's lag spikes, but that's normal. I'll get into more depth of that later. But these are some of the things that you start off with. So you start off with a foundation, a hammer, a rock to melee with, and a couple pieces of clothing, a lock, a torch, and lots of wood. Now these are some of the things that you can make. As you've seen, I've been flickering through them. And right now it's kind of like just some basics like paper and low-grade fuel for the furnaces. There's campfires, all sorts of clothing. But yeah, you're going to want to go out and you're going to want to gather because you start off with enough wood to get a regular base going, which I will show you how to do. But really cool is they brought back the third person. Actually, it's been here since they've made the... I sped it up just because I thought it was funny. But the third person is cool to look, and it might have tactical advantage as far as when you're playing the game for whatever reason. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't think it should be in the game. It's cool to look at your character from third person, but it seems that these are some of the things that they've made for clothing. Now, the metal vest is like really difficult to make, and I'll explain why later on. But the gloves are what's new. That's what the 5th slot is for. I thought it was going to be for a backpack, but it's for gloves, which is really cool. I showed you this for 2 reasons. One, I wanted to show you guys the torch, the new torch. You can actually melee with it, which will actually set people on fire. And those are the lag spikes you're gonna have to deal with. They're random. They're just for loading zones, but right now it can be pretty bad. It can be like 15-20 seconds. So I wanted to show you guys a torch and the fact that yeah, you can swim. And apparently when you're in the water, the torch still goes, which I thought was interesting. It should go out, actually. It should damage it so you can't use it again if you have it out. But the one thing you got to pay attention to is look at your lungs. I'm losing health because I was in the water, and there's another lag spike. Because I was in the water for so long, and you lose health until you die unless you can get out of the water. So if you feel like swimming, be careful. So these are some of the animals. So they got the deer, the new animation, the new character design for the deer, but for some reason every time you kill an animal it turns into the wolf, because I think the wolf has the only ragdoll animation. So there's the bear, which is really cool. Neither one of them react to you, but they just have their basic animations, and again that one turns into the wolf. But what you gotta really watch out for is the infamous pink glow-in-the-dark boar that again also turns into the wolf as it falls. But whatever, it's really funny. But the biggest thing you gotta watch out for is God in the game, the floating naked man. The floating naked man is something that I don't know. I was just playing and the guy was floating, he wasn't moving, so I don't know. It must have been some sort of glitch. Either he disconnected or he's still connecting and it didn't like drop him down to the ground yet. But I wanted to raise my torch to him to salute the floating naked man as my God, and I bow down to thee. And yeah, so trees are pretty cool. The trees are huge trees. And oh yeah, you can put out the torch now by right-clicking. You can put out the torch, and you can by left-clicking you can use it as a melee weapon, which is really cool. So this is how you build. This is it. So first of all, you're gonna start off in the game in the experimental branch with the foundation blueprint, or like the foundation structure, but what confused me is I didn't understand how to make the other parts, because it's not just a regular thing. It's not like you go into the other parts and then you make it. You don't go in your inventory. What you actually do is you bring up the foundation. So you put it in a number slot. For me, it's in number 1. You put it in a number 1 slot, and then you right click while it's in that slot. And these are how you bring up the other options. So I wanted to build a 2x2 hut, and it can be a little tricky to get to line up exactly where you want it, because you can actually offset them. So it doesn't match up with the foundation, and then you can completely screw it up. So when you're building, make sure it's lined up perfectly. And I'm going to speed up through the rest of this just because it's kind of pointless for you to sit there and watch me bang a hammer every single time. But I wanted to show you guys how to build a base, so that way, you know, when you come in and play, you can do it. Now, you also want to build a door. Now, it took me for a minute to find it for some reason, but you want to build a door. Now, they give you a lock. I'm not sure if they're going to, when the game is actually released, I'm not sure if you're going to just get a lock when you spawn. I'm assuming you're going to have to make one from metal fragments. So your door will be, you know, available for people just to open until you can actually get the lock. So what you got to do is you got to put it in your number slot, go up to the door that doesn't have a lock on it, that you want to put a lock on it. So technically you could go lock somebody's base. And then you press the number 5 slot, and it'll give you the option to place it by left clicking. So once you left click on the door, then you've installed the lock into the door. Then you have to create a key. Otherwise, you can just open it. So right now, you can't just open it and close like you used to be able to before. Now you actually got to make a key and then select it. So it might cause some issues for some Rust fast play, you know, running into your base. So basically, you're just not going to want to run into your base if you've got somebody right behind you, because they're gonna come in. So once you have the key though, it stays on you at all times, which I'm not a big fan of. I think that once you have the key, it should just go into the door and then disappear from your inventory, and then you have the ability to unlock and lock the door. And then you can make another key for other people, drop the key, and then they can use the key. And then once you use it once, you have access to that door. I think that's how they should do it. Because then that will make it so you can just open and close the door instead of if somebody comes up behind you and they can get in your place. The door animation is really slow. So if they're directly behind you, they're going to get in anyways. I screwed up here when I was building the stairs and I didn't put it far enough to the end. So there's no pillars anymore, which is kind of unique. It gives you the ability to build any type of base that you want, and so you know, we'll see how it goes. I don't mind it, actually. I kind of like the idea that there's no pillars. I didn't mind the pillars, to be honest with you to begin with, but the fact that they're taking away the pillars, I think it gives you more freedom on how you want to design your building, because you wouldn't be able to do the overlay, that overhang like I just did, if there was pillars required. So I think that's why they're doing it. That's the main reason anyways. Once you put up a structure, a blueprint, you know, like stairs, walls, or anything like that, you can't walk through it. It's not like you can like put it up before when they first implemented them, you could put it up and then you could walk through it. But now you can't. You have to actually put it up, and then you can't walk through it, and then you just use your hammer to complete it. At the present time, things are destructible in the game though. You just need to use a melee tool. I have an encounter with somebody near the end of the video, and he tries to break down my door. Be aware that there is fall damage implemented, which is good. I like the fact that they have damage. They have the food meter up, but it doesn't seem to like go down. You don't seem to get hurt from it. You can gather wood from trees. However, you get 7 wood. No. 3. You get 3 wood per swing with the rock, but I recommend finding wood piles because they give you like I think it's like a high number, 12, maybe more than 12. But it's a lot, and the wood piles disappear just like in regular Rust after you gather so much wood from it. Slowly, you know, pieces go missing until it's gone. But you can get a lot of wood. You can get like a good couple 100 pieces of wood from the wood piles at the moment. This is obviously they're just trying things out, trying to figure out what's fair to give to wood piles and stuff. People drop human skulls these days. That's just what happens when you die. You drop a human skull. I also got an animal skull, which is pretty cool, wolf skull. This is my base. This is I played for an hour and a half the other night, and I don't like how you've got to open the door. You can like unlock it, or you have to. I think you have to unlock the door before you can open it. I don't know. I think that's too much. I think that's way too much. It should just be locked permanently once you have the lock in there. But I don't know. He's trying new things. This is one of the things I wanted to show you. So right now you cannot. What is getting lost is that you can't put a foundation or a ceiling. It's actually called a floor plan. You can't put a floor plan down unless there is a wall giving it structure. And it just has to be one wall on one side, and then you can place it down. But I won't be able to place it here because I wouldn't have any actual walls. So you have to remember that when you're building, and to remember to put walls, make sure every spot that you want to put a floor plan down has the ability for the wall, has the structure for the wall. I like the look of everything. The log cabin look looks really sick. It's a lot better than before. Graphically, the experimental version is way better than before. Sorry for the long video, by the way, but I missed out on a lot of things on a month and a half. And I'm going to be doing them obviously more regularly now, but my computer was broken. But that's nor here nor there. Everything costs wood when you're making pieces. It costs wood to place it down, and then it costs wood to actually build it. It costs more wood to actually place it down than it does to build it. This is actually one of the spots where I wanted to show you guys a few things. I wanted to show you the bone knife, which you need bone from, which you gather from animals. And I was also trying to save up all my inventory until I could build a sleeping bag, because sleeping bags cost 50 cloth, and you get 20 cloth from each animal. But I couldn't get it. I didn't get it. I ended up getting 40 cloth. I wanted to get a sleeping bag, and I was gonna make a storage box and start storing my stuff. But like at this present time, because everything's made out of wood, it is destructible. That vest, man, that metal vest is interesting. I haven't gotten around to building it yet, but it's actually really cool. So I'm building a fireplace, or I'm about to build a fireplace, and then I wanted to build. So I built a storage box, a fireplace, and I wanted to build a furnace, but I need low-grade fuel. And I had to actually find the low-grade fuel, but it's in there. There's lanterns now. The lanterns are really cool. I haven't gotten around to making them. There's so much stuff that they've put into this, and graphically it looks so much better. The new menu. There is weight, though. If you notice, there is weight. So the more stuff you carry, the more weight, you're full. So what I'm curious is if the weapons, when the weapons come into play, and they are actually gonna weigh more than like a storage box or something like that. Each thing. I wonder if the clothing actually is gonna weigh something. It doesn't really. You can't. It's not like you can right-click on something and you can find out the weight for it. But I found the low-grade fuels to make the furnace, and then once they're all finished, I was able to make the furnace. And I think it's actually, yeah, they're loading right now. But I was constantly just messing around with the menu, seeing what the pictures mean. I think as you hover over the images, it should tell you, little hover words should pop up and tell you what it is. Just makes it easier so you can better remember where things will be for what you want to learn. Like, I don't understand what an umbrella has to do with a furnace. That makes no sense whatsoever. So they need to change the umbrella, because that makes no sense. But again, they need to have words over them, so like med kits and stuff like that. But as it is right now, you gain a lot of ores when you're gathering from ores. You gain a lot of like metal ore and sulfur ore and stones. You get a lot right now, but at the moment it's kind of a pain in the ass. I did want to let you guys know about the fireplace. It's going to be popping up shortly. I was trying to cook the meat because my hunger meter's there, and it's getting orange, and the color determination is how you know how bad your situation is. Before there was actually a meter for your food, but now there's actually like, it's just the image and it changes color. So it starts off yellow, saying that you're just mildly hungry, and right now mine is orange, so it's probably saying that I'm gonna get hungry, and then at some point I would start losing health. There's thirst meter as well, and I wanted to say that there's a cold meter. It is a cold meter because it's a snowflake. It took me a while to put that together. It's interesting, I guess. It kind of makes sense. There's a fire. There's if you're cold. But this is watch out. You actually burn yourselves now by stepping on the fire. So it doesn't ignite you and keep you ignited, which is good. But just be careful when you're walking over the fireplaces. Now, for some reason, when you're placing things down, like you just noticed when I was placing down the furnace, it doesn't actually go green when you can place it where you're able to place it. Now I'm guessing it's just because they just recently implemented them, so once they've get it all figured out, then it'll go red where you can't place it, green where you can. The one thing I really like about how they're designing the buildings now with the no pillars is that, excuse me, you can't leave cracks in your walls, in your corners, so people can loot your shit. So that's one thing to definitely be glad for. I did sit there and I wanted to burn stuff in the furnace to find out, you know, because I wanted to make some metal stuff, because I had a lot of wood and I had a lot of stuff, but for some reason it only burns one metal fragment at a time, and if you leave it in there, it's just going to keep burning wood. So what you want to do is you want to actually keep an eye on it. Once it burns that one metal fragment, take it out. This is the encounter, I think, right here. There's a guy downstairs at my front door, and he's trying to break down the door. You can see him now, and he's just sitting there hitting the door. So I tried talking to him. There is a voice command when you hit V. It says recording. Now I don't know if they can actually hear you, because I haven't heard anybody talk yet. I kind of regret putting my windows on the second floor, but whatever. I should have made an exit, a fire exit or something, so I could get out another way and sneak up behind people. But I hopped out the window and I ended up losing some health. But I did get the drop on the guy because he doesn't know I'm there. And then I get him, but he didn't drop anything. So I'm not sure if there was a glitch and he actually lagged and just disconnected or what. But as it sits right now, okay, I killed him. And so 1 minute you killed somebody, and the next minute you're off gathering again, because that's just the way the game goes. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed the update for August Rust Experimental Branch. And if you guys have any questions, or if there's anything you guys want to see, let me know, and I will do my best to find out. I'm going to be bringing you guys a new Rust survival guide as quickly as possible, and hopefully some more Rust Let's Plays, and keep you guys updated and posted on all the Rust Experimental Branch. The one thing I do want to notice is let you guys know that you can hear footsteps. They're very loud right now. But for some reason I wasn't fucking paying attention. Oh no, that's why I was looking around, because I heard a guy's footsteps, but I was looking around. I didn't notice that he was directly behind me, and he ends up killing me here. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Lex Coupe saying rate, comment, subscribe. Doochie doo skadoosh.